Hey guys, me and Team here, and welcome back to another post-commentary of Let's Play Civ 4. As I explained in the previous video, I'm just doing this because I screwed up the audio recording of my original video, and as such, am trying to make amends with a post-commentary on ×2 speed. And yeah, basically until part 14, we're going to be doing it this way, ×2 speed, a little bit faster pace for the game, and post-commentary, just so that you have some commentary that's worth anything at all. There we go, Worker Steel, and we are still working on Pakal. This is Hall of Fame Challenger 6, Game 2. I'm skipping Game 1 for now because it's on Prince. And I really didn't feel like playing a Prince Epic UN game where it's mostly just an early game raffle stomp for Diplomation. I think that's going to be the fastest way. We'll have to see. But the AI tech so incompetently on Prince, I don't really see any other way of going about that. Maybe I'll take a look at submitted games and glean a new approach. Hey, who knows? Anyway, like I said, go ahead and post any questions you have about this game or to a lesser priority other games, and I will answer them. And there are a few from the previous video, which was part 6. Yeah, so let's have a look here. Starting off, well, I'm going to answer the ones that are most relevant. Starting out with Dylan522P. Why didn't you try splitting cities in that war? I'm not really sure what you're asking in that particular case. Do you mean why I didn't try to fork cities, as in put my horse archers between multiple cities to threaten them? I did that to some extent, but my primary reason for not doing that, really, was just to hose Pakal right away with a 3-pronged attack. Pakal was pretty weak, so there was really no reason for me to have to worry about that. Yeah, you use forking when the enemy actually has a stack, and you want to make it so that that stack can't protect everything. And in this case, that just wasn't that wasn't what we saw. Pakal is actually pretty weak, and I just split my forces to take him down more readily. So that's that question. Let's see here. Next up from Poiler Boyle, long-time viewer of mine. Do you have any good tips for how to stop spending forever just building buildings in the cities, so that you are planning for a war in the medieval era, but instead you reach Renaissance with a pair of trebuchets and a maceman covered with dust? Same problem with Civ 5. Okay, the ways to address this vary a little bit between Civ 4 and Civ 5, but basically you want to get to a military breakpoint. I'll start with Civ 4. In Civ 4, you want to get to a military breakpoint, where you can quickly produce units and attack with them as soon as possible. I mean, you're looking at 10 to 20 turns of full-on war prep and then hit. Or you just go all-out military when you decide that you have technology you need to stomp most of the enemies you need to do, or all of the enemies you need to stomp. Either or works. You can abuse the whip, you can build a bunch of units and then run a great immersion to upgrade them. Obviously you can go for a mass drafting strategy, or you could just workshop or farm very heavily and whip and or hammer out your units, depending on whether you want to use slavery or caste and what your tiles look like. So you have some options there, but the point is to produce your units quickly, hit quickly, and end the war quickly. That's really what you're looking to do in Civilization 4. In Civ 5, raw production is a little bit different. No, raw production is the same, but the trade-offs are different. For example, you can rush by in any era. A lot of high-level play in Civ 5 is centered on abusing the AI for gold. So you're going to be looking to farm the AI for gold in Civ 5, much more so than you would in Civilization 4. Yeah, sell your luxuries and use that. And buildings versus units, in both games, this doesn't change. You really need to decide what you need the most right now, and that goes for choosing between buildings as well as choosing between buildings and units, and choosing which units to build. You decide, okay, what gives me the biggest return the fastest, and that's pretty much what you're going to be going for. There's obviously some difficulties in determining that. A lot of that goes into your micro-planning, how much you're willing to run test saves, how much you're willing to calculate tile micro, or just yields after you build a building, how much will it give you per turn for building it, and you can compare that to building wealth, you can compare that to building an alternative building, and ultimately you're going to pick the thing that you need the best, with some adjustment for how much your empire needs X, Y, or Z output. Ultimately, it's, that's part of the strategy of the game. But yeah, if you want to build a bunch of units quickly in Civ 4, you whip a lot, and you upgrade and or draft. And, if you have Kremlin and Market Grocer and Bank, you can even rush buy. But for most of the game, rush buying is pretty inefficient. Also, keep in mind, Kremlin applies to the whip, so yeah, take advantage of that if you can. It's a little bit out of the way, but yeah, if you can pick it up or if you can capture it, by all means, certainly. In Civ 5, you're going to be, units, because of the 1 unit per tile thing, it's going to be a lot more, I believe, about upgrading your units. You only need so many. They should be quality units. Experience is kept. You don't have an experience cap of 10 when you upgrade a unit. So you can just upgrade units, and retain the promotions if you plan it well. Civ 5 has a lot of that going for it. So part of Civ 5 is just being efficient with the units you do produce, and then building the proper buildings, and as in the ones that give you the most returns quickly. If you want stronger advice than that in Civ 5, because that's very general advice, it's accurate advice, but it's general. If you want specific good play for Civilization 5, check out the channel that Majin runs. He is a deity Civ 5 player. As far as I know, he's the best Civ 5 Let's Player you can find on YouTube. If there's others, I haven't really been following Civ 5 outside of him very much. So if there are others, certainly feel free to post in the comments, let my viewers know about that, because I don't cover a lot of Civ 5. And for those who are interested in that, certainly, I have no problems with communicating more information about Civilization in general. But okay, let's see if there are any other questions. The final question, I'm a little surprised, I only got 3. That's fine, though. That just makes it easier to answer them all, doesn't it? The final question is, why did you keep Susa? Really, the reason I'm keeping all of the cities I'm keeping is that I can afford them. I have the 3 key technology for the early game: currency, code of laws, and monarchy. And Susa can grow to be a decent city for me ultimately. So I don't want to spend the hammers to build another settler and lose whatever limited improvements are in the city to burn it, when I can easily afford the city. That's not an issue. We're doing very well here, as you can see in the video. And there's really nothing, that merits burning a city. There just isn't. Usually, and I guess I can extend this to general tips about keeping or raising cities. And you really only raise a city when you have to, or when the crash to your economy is going to be so bad it isn't worth it to keep it. And yeah, there's a little bit of an evaluation there. But for the most part, if you can afford to keep a city and you're attacking, you want to keep it. You don't want to let another AI settle it and have to capture it again later. Yeah, that's a pretty foul thing to have happen. So I'd rather just avoid it entirely. Other than that, there's been some other questions like why monarchy, and yes, that's just to grow my cities. You get at least 1 happiness in every city from the mandatory garrison you need to just avoid unhappiness from fearing for protection. But you can have more, and I'm going to have leftover horse archers, so that's a big boost to my economy without any special extra investment beyond what I've already made. So, okay, this video is a little bit over 9:20. I'm coming up on about the 9-minute mark, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the post-commentary here. Let me know if you have any questions in this part. I will address them in the next one. I hope you're enjoying the series so far. Give a like if you are, and until then, I will see you in the next part. Me and team signing off.